What's up, Canfield fans? Steve Leslie, YSNLive.com. Coach's Corner, sponsored by Coca's Pizza. Canfield Cardinal Nation style playoff regional championship game against Chardon Friday night at 7 o'clock. Glad to be joined again by Coach Pav. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here, Steve. Boy, another week of Cardinal football. It's been an exciting week.
I bet it's been an exciting week. It's exciting for us. I guess my first question, Coach, this is what, week 11, I want to say? 11?
Yeah, it'll be our 10th game. We had a bye week. So
week 11. That's hard to fathom that 11 weeks we've talked and this team continues to progress along. You go up last week to Streetsboro. Coach, I said it. We talked last week. Very confident in your football team, but that performance, Coach, was one of the most dominating games I've watched in a long, long time. Your thoughts after you had a chance to go back and watch it?
Certainly a special performance by our guys all the way through, from special teams, offense, defense. Start with our defense. Man, my goodness, Wally Hurdley, his staff, and the defensive players, the type of effort they gave on every play, to hold that team to 6 points. And through 3.5 quarters, we had held them to 150 yards total. And the last two drives, I think we kind of lost our focus a little bit, up 24-0. They went 80 yards for a touchdown and then 66 yards before Connor Ritz had his interception. And, so on two drives, they had 144 yards, and the other 3.5 quarters, it was 150. Our guys for 3.5 quarters played lights out and then finished the game the way we wanted to. Offensively, we were as efficient as we've been all year long. I know we only scored 24, but boy, our guys did a tremendous job with the game plan and moving the sticks. And, we're just tickled to move on.
With Coach Pav, big win last week against Streetsboro. We will get into Chardon. It's funny you say that because I remember talking last week. One of your keys was the offense needs to be on the field. And I go back after I watched that. I'm at the studio, and you hit the big play on the first drive, the long pass, unfortunate fumble out of the end zone. But something just told me right there that this offense could do that against them all night. Again, the offensive line coach was outstanding, but the running backs, Mike Crawford again, he runs so very hard and picks up those extra yards after contact in that game. There were some key ones in that situation, but the way the game was played offensively, you were able to run the ball and throw it. I'm sure you have to be pleased with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Thought Brock managed the game very well, made a number of changes of plays to the line of scrimmage, the audibles. And, thank goodness our offensive team picked every one of those up. Obviously he throws the ball very well. We can, take advantage of that and keep people off of us. But just really pleased. Michael Crawford's a tremendous running back and, a tremendous blocker. People don't see is that a lot of times he's blocking for the fullback, running with the football. So, his effort every week is really great. And then, looking forward to improving a little bit this week as we're going to certainly need to facing a Chardon team that's giving about 7 points a game.
Wow. With Coach Pav, Coach's Corner, sponsored by Coca's. Coach, one question for me that I'm sure a lot of fans like to know. Your receivers do a very good job of blocking down. That's obvious. But as this season continues for you and Brock continues to make all those strides, from an opposing standpoint, that has to be hard to prepare for your football team because he's another guy that sometimes is not accounted for in defenses. Is that safe to say?
Absolutely. Steve, is a good point by you. And, again, any team that can be balanced and throw the ball and run it equally well, they're very difficult to defend. And, obviously we've been able to do that. We got an offensive line that protects them. Obviously he can throw the football. And we got some receivers this year that are getting open and can catch it. And, we're not going to throw it 75% of the time, but, when we do throw it, that 35, 40% of the time in the game, it's pretty effective.
Yeah, his consistency has been phenomenal. He gets the ball out quickly. The linemen do a great job in protecting, and it's a fun offense to watch. But let's get, before we move ahead to the Chardon game, we're with Coach Pav, Coach's Corner, sponsored by Coca's Pizza. The game will be Friday night in Chardon. Canfield Nation, they need you. So that's kind of some of the things I'm going to hit, Coach, for all of your fans that want to follow this game. At YSN, Quinn Pushkar and myself and Richie Giuliano and Gary Niddle, we'll do a little pregame show from Chardon from 5:30 to 6:30. Unfortunately, Coach, the OHSA, we will not be able to stream the game on YSN. It is being covered by the cable network of the OHSA, which we completely understand. So for Canfield fans, that's your best way to get on. There will be information on YSN to do that. But, Coach, my suggestion is buy the game, watch it, but shut the volume off and listen to Richie and Gary, who've been the voice of the Cardinals all season calling that game. But, that's where Canfield fans will be able to watch it. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do it, but we're thrilled to still have the audio end of it for Canfield Nation.
Yeah. Hey, great idea there. And many times a lot of people watch a game, turn the volume down and turn on their famous announcers, their best announcers. We got two great ones in Richie and Gary.
Well, I appreciate that. It'll be Spectrum Cable, Coach, that will be doing those games. They're the home. There's a lot of games. So look, Canfield fans, look for that Spectrum link. But, please hop on our pregame show. We'll have a lot of things. We'll be at the stadium, and we're excited about that. So, Coach, let's dive into this football team. I was looking at some numbers. They're 9-0. They beat New Philadelphia, who you played 31-0. I guess let's start there. To beat New Philadelphia 31-0, we talked off air, that has this football team's attention.
Absolutely. It's the first week we've ever looked at Chardon, talked about Chardon because of, the competitiveness of our region. But the first thing we did talk about Saturday morning was, that 31-0 score that, Chardon obviously is a really, really good football team, but obviously much better than people think because of what they did to a really fine New Philadelphia team.
Yeah, James Pettyjohn, Coach, we talked about him a little bit. Over 1,200 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns. And Drew Fetchchecks, the quarterback, has rushed for almost 600 and 820 touchdowns for him. So double-headed monster. Talk about their offense a little bit before we get to their defense.
Well, their offense is, explosive from a wing T standpoint. They're not going to spread out and have all different types of formations. There's like 2 or 3 formations they have, and what plays are coming. They just ask you to come stop it. And so far this year, nobody's been able to. The Pettyjohn kid's got some wheels that if he gets to the outside, just like last week, we're not going to have a chance to catch him. So it's going to be incumbent upon our defense, again, to be in their pursuit alleys and be in the right fits and all those things that you need to do to have a successful defensive night. Once again, their pass game is a really effective pass game. It's not very what I want to say. It's a pass game that
Sure.
They want to hit you with a big play. It's not Dover. It's not New Philadelphia where they're going to send crosses or, all over the place and they're reading people. They want to give you the same look every play and then hit you over the top, once your DBs aren't reading their keys. Conversely, that same thing that we talked about last week, a great way to defend an explosive offense, a high-octane offense, is to keep your offense on the field. And, we certainly got to find a way to do that again.
Well, that's a big key. I'm sure we'll get to our offense against their defense. But, Coach, wing T, hard offense, obviously, to prepare for. Hard offense. I guess the question, hard offense, is that offense a hard offense to get behind the chains a lot for what they do?
Yeah, you got to get them behind the chains. There's no doubt about that. Nobody's done that yet this year. Nobody's figured them out. Their offensive line is absolutely huge, and they just come off the football. It's like a sprinter stance, and they're going as soon as that ball snapped. And, taking people out, who's ever in their way, basically, and creating lanes for the quarterback, for the tailback and Pettyjohn. And, they got a couple other backs that can do a number on you, but those are the two main threats. Obviously, any type of wing T offense, you get to a second and, long, a third and long. They do tend to struggle a little bit, but then
Sure.
Again, this team, it's third and long. They're going to run the football. And, and they get to within a 4th and 4, no matter on the field they're at, they're going to go.
Well, regional championship, that's the way you want it, I'm sure. There's no bad football teams playing in regional championship week. Defensively, Coach, for them, I said that they give up about 7 points a game. Talk about their defense a little bit for the Canfield fans.
Extremely fast, extremely physical. It's one of the fastest defenses we've seen. They do a lot more on defense than what we have seen in the playoffs so far. And what I mean by that is they move people. They'll blitz linebackers from every angle. They've got a young man, defensive end, number 8, Miles Mendelsohn, I think is his name. He's going to Iowa State. John Haycock knows defensive football. Recruited this kid, and he's 6'4", 220 pounds, and he's a fantastic football player. We got to be aware of where he's at all night long. But the biggest thing is, not to get confused with their defensive schemes. That you step at a guy that you think you're originally blocking when the play is starting, he moves. You got what we say: stay on your tracks and don't chase people. Don't turn back, because once you chase or once you turn back, there's somebody coming to your gap, and all of a sudden we've got trouble.
Well, it's going to be a great game. 2 great defenses, obviously. So offense will be the key. I love the way the Canfield offense is playing. We're with Coach Pav, Coach's Corner, playoff edition, regional final at Chardon, Friday night at 7 o'clock. Canfield fans, you can get it on Spectrum. Not sure where you will find that, but try to do your best to find a place where you can watch the Cardinals play. Hop on YSN for the $9.95. You will get our package for the whole week, the audio call by Richie and Gary, and obviously the 25% back to the school. But Coach Pav, again, I can tell the excitement in your voice. The community's excited. I know these kids are excited. Talk about how this week has been in practice a little bit before we get to some final touches.
Yeah, Monday was a tough practice day for us because it was like 30 degrees outside.
Yeah, that was a cold one.
School, and there's 2 inches of snow on the turf, and you're looking for alternatives to go somewhere. Well, by 1:30, the snow's gone, and it's warmed up a little bit, and we ended up outside for about an hour and a half, I think it was. And we had a pretty decent practice. Tuesday was a great workout for our guys, and then today was another good workout. So our guys are studying film. They're buying into the game plan again, and all they want to do is play hard for their teammates and play a full 48 minutes and see if it's good enough.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind. And Coach, I'm going to say it again. It's good enough. I've been saying it for all season. I just know this football team and the desire they have and the competitiveness that they're going to come ready to go, and it's going to be another good effort to get a big win. The weekend weather looks fantastic. You have to be pleased about that. Into a regional final. Looks like 60, 65 at game time. That's awesome. But the weekly question for you, Coach, the biggest key to a regional final and that berth to the state semifinals?
I think the biggest key for both teams, Steve, is to control the offense and defensive lines. Both teams want to run the football, need to protect their quarterback when they do throw it. The team that can sustain the offense and defensive lines and move people have a great chance of winning the game. Both teams are extremely physical. Both teams are very competitive. The other thing is going to come down to, I really believe, is going to be mental mistakes. The team that makes the least mental mistakes, that can really focus no matter what's happening around them, will have a great chance of winning the game. And obviously, you got to talk turnovers, and you got to discuss the kicking game. Our kicking game has been tremendous throughout the playoffs.
Fantastic.
We need that performance again from Chris Samron, our punter, and Jonathan Schmidt, our kicker.
Yeah, well, there you have it, Canfield fans. Coach, I've said this all week to a lot of people. This is about as even as a matchup as you can get. These are 2 teams that are definitely good enough to win a state championship. I'll say that because I know you don't like to do that. But I think that, again, the biggest thing for me with this football team, with your staff, I look at who you played. I look at who they played. And a lot of those blowouts, I think sometimes that could hurt a really good football team. So on my end of it, Canfield's going to do what they do, make the game tough and tight early. And I feel that that's a huge advantage for your kids and your football team because they've been in those situations all year long.
I agree with you, Steve, that, we've talked to our guys last week against Streetsboro and certainly this week. Let's get to a fourth quarter and have a competitive game and see what happens. We've been there. We've been down and come back at halftime and things such as that. Our guys just keep playing, and a team that hasn't been into that tight ball game or faced some adversity in the fourth quarter, you just never know how they're going to react. We know how our guys are going to react. There's no doubt about that. They're going to keep swinging at you and keep coming every play. And if it's good enough, it's good enough. But we're certainly going to give it our best effort.
Well, there's no doubt. I know your best effort's going to be a good one, Coach, from all of us. With Coach Pav, Coach's Corner, the last regional final for them to get to that bid to the state semis. You can watch it on Spectrum, Canfield fans. But remember, hop on YSN, listen to Richie and Gary. They've done a great job following and calling this football team all year long. And, of course, myself and Quinn Pushkar will have the pregame from Chardon from 5:30 to 6:30. Coach, have a safe trip up there. I look forward to saying hello before the game. And, again, from all of us at YSN, Canfield football team, go do what you do best, and that's compete, play hard, and represent your community. Coach, have a great another day of practice. Best of luck to you, the staff, and a great group of kids, and let's go beat Chardon on Friday night.
Appreciate that, Steve. We'll see you up in Chardon.
All righty. Have a good night, Coach.